The participant have already joined.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this session. The objective of this session is to understand how image processing algorithms can be executed on MATLAB. That was the theme of today's session in the morning session. So we have gone through a number of algorithms in image enhancement, like we have seen point processing methods, we have seen filtering methods, right? And the question is, how do we implement those algorithms? So MATLAB is one tool which provide you some pre-specified toolboxes. So for image processing purpose, there is a inbuilt tool that is a digital image processing toolbox, and you can utilize the facilities available in that toolbox. So we will see how we can use MATLAB. We will see how we can use MATLAB to read image files, how we can use MATLAB to write image files, right? Then how do we identify different components of uh, in fact different color components of an image, and finally how do we apply different algorithms using MATLAB. So what I will do, if you are having MATLAB installed on your system, that is well and good. If you don't have MATLAB installed on your system, then what you can do, you can directly go to the website of MATLAB and you can use live editor. So I am showing you how to do that, because I will be executing all the commands on live editor. On my system, MATLAB is not installed, of course, because of licensing issue. So using live editor, I will show you how to write commands and how to observe the output, and the same commands would work on your system if the MATLAB is installed. Fine. So let me share my screen. Okay. So is it visible, sir? Hello, is it visible, sir? Okay, no response. So I assume that this is visible to all. So if you have to go to live editor, then you have to go to MATLAB site and you can use any link which is showing you run this example in your browser. So I take, let us say, this one, and when you click on it, you will be given a window and you can clear that window, and after clearing that window you will get something like this, right? So what I have to do, I will write some comments. I will write MATLAB commands and we will observe the output. Fine. So our first task is, like we have seen, we are working with digital images, especially JPG or PNG. So if I have to read a JPG file, then how to read that in MATLAB using commands, and what is inside that JPG file? So that we have to understand. So keep in mind, I am also writing some text here so that you can understand that, right? So read an image using MATLAB digital image processing toolbox, right? So this is our objective. So function is imread, imread stands for image read. So whenever you have to read an image and you have to get the inner content of the image in JPG file, then you have to go through, or you have to use imread function. Now the question is how to use that. Now I write code. So let us say img, this is my variable. I will go through in details of these points. So I will use imread, and then I have to provide file name, right? So what imread function does, it takes image file name as parameter, and when you provide this parameter, it reads that file, and after reading that file, it converts that image into a 2x2 matrix by default, right? So if you remember the definition of digital image, then we have seen that in general an image can be represented as a 2D matrix with some rows and columns, because it was two-dimensional function. So right now we stick to that definition only, and then we will see what are the various variations available in this statement, right? So I am using an online image, so I just copy and paste this command. So let us say this is my command, right? I replace it. So instead of A, I am writing img. Imread function is there to read an image, and this is the file available on internet which I want to read and I want to analyze. So I just put it in browser and I can see what is the actual file, right? So I will be using this file for the analysis purpose and image processing lab purpose. So I have used this command and then I press run command. As you can see, either you can use F5 or you can click on run. So when you click on run, you can see something is there on screen. Now, what is the meaning of this output? So you can see IMG is 250 cross 250 cross 3. So this is not two-dimensional matrix. Basically, it's a three-dimensional matrix which says that 250 cross 250 is the image size. So my image size that was 5685 underscore 8.jpg. The dimensions of this image are 250 cross 250. But what is 3? Because we have seen digital image is a two-dimensional function. The third component is appearing because of colors, color component available in the image. Since this image is a colored image, so whenever we are talking about colored images, then keep in mind the third dimension reflects color component. So my definition that digital image is a two-dimensional function fxy, that is true, but that is only for grayscale images or monochrome images. When we talk about colored images, then we have third component which is reflected by this cross 3 component in array, right? So this is the way how I read my image. Now question is, if I have read the image, how can I ensure that my image has been read correctly? So I'm not sure whether these components are really representing my image or not. So how do I ensure that? So what I will do, I will write one more command, that is imshow img, and I will again execute it. So see what happens. So my first command is executed again, and using imshow function, imshow stands for image show or show my image, and then I'm passing variable or the matrix name. So this matrix name is the same name which I had used in first command, or that is the matrix name. So imshow function is showing me whether I have read my image correctly or not. So keep in mind, whenever you have to start with image processing functions in MATLAB or in any other tool, the very first task is to read the image and to ensure that you have read the image correctly. So the first function that we have seen, that was imread. In imread, you have to pass path of the JPG file. So if you are using MATLAB locally, then in that case you can provide a path of local file. But if you are using it online, then in that case you have to give path online path of the image. So I have used one URL as a parameter of imread function. Then imread function is reading this file, and it is being converted to the IMG matrix. So IMG is three-dimensional matrix, 250 cross 250 cross 3, because color components are there. But in order to ensure that I have read it correctly, I am just displaying the content of this matrix. So I can see that my image has been shown correctly and it has been read correctly, because this was the actual image, as you can see, and this is the read image. So I think there is no difference in these two images. So I'm ensured that my image has been read correctly. Fine. Now I want to understand what are the other informations associated with this image which I have read, right? So what I will do, I will create one more section so that my code is not executed every time, complete code, right? Now I want to write some comment like get file information, right? Or extract file information, extract image file information. Fine. So now I want to know what are the different components available in the image, or what are the different information associated in the image. So for that purpose, what I will do, I will use this function imf info. So imf info function is there. So what imf info does, image information, and again you have to give complete path. Keep in mind, it will not work on matrix part, because what matrix does, it reads your x and y coordinates. Imread function reads your x and y coordinates and the intensity, and those information is saved in matrix. But if we have to get certain information about file, then we have to provide original file, so that most of the information could be read from the file, because that information is not available in matrix. So just execute it. So again, click on run. So now you can see some information is available, like file name is there, that was the actual file name, then file modification date you can say, right, that is 22nd of August, then file size, then what is the format, then what is the width and height, right, what is bit depth, then what is the color type and coding method for JPG file and coding process and so on, right. So this is the information associated with my file name, which I have used for the imread function and for the further processing, right. So we have seen that how to read the image, then how to display the content of the matrix, and how to get the more image information using IMF info. So this is the function IMF info and accepts one parameter, that is the original file name, right. So through that you can get the necessary file information. Now I come to another command, that is m comma n in matrix, that is one dimensional matrix with two columns, that is size of img. Run this command. So what does this command, what this command is doing? So m comma n is one dimensional matrix, and I am using it with size img. So basically size is returning me the dimensions of my image. Dimensions of my image will be saved in two variables, m and n, and you can cross check it with this information, width and height, available in the previous command output, right. So you can see here width and height was given 250 cross 250, but in this case you can see 250 cross 750. So why there is so much difference? When we are talking about size of the image, it should be 250 cross 250, right. So this is because of the color component, because if you go through the first command, then you can see there were three color components, because my image was in color format was RGB, that is red, green and blue. So RGB component was there. So when we are talking about RGB component, then we are having three color components, so that's why 3 was here. Similarly, when you are getting the size of the image, then 250 m is equal to 250, n is equal to 250, but in actual, because of colored image, this is 250 cross 3. So the value 750 has been returned, right. So keep in mind, when you are getting the size of the colored image, then it will be multiplied by the color component, and accordingly the value will be provided to you, fine. But if you are reading it through imread function, then it will not show you, it will be shown as the third component of the matrix, and when you are getting the image information, it will not be shown, the actual size of the image 250 cross 250 will be shown, right. Now come to the next command. So next command is show color components of the image, like RGB. So as I have already told you that my image is a colored image, and it is composed of three color components, red, green and blue. So in this case, in this scenario, I just want to see what is the value, what are the values of red, green and blue component. Basically, how does it look like when I separate out these components, because my imread function says that it is 250 cross 250 cross 3, and when you see here this img colon 1, what is the meaning of this? We haven't discussed this part. What is the meaning of this colon 1 and colon 2? So img is representing the complete matrix with all the color components, and individual color component are marked as third dimension, that is 3, 250 cross 250 cross 3. So if I just want to identify what is the look of red component in this image, so what I will do, img red, so I am taking another matrix img r equal to, then what I will do, img, that is my actual matrix, colon, that is irrespective of the first dimension, comma, colon, irrespective of the second dimension, comma 1. So I am interested in getting the first component irrespective of width and height. So that means all the values of first and second dimension I need, but only for the component 1. So component 1 is my rad component. So now I execute this command and see what happens. That means I am just extracting the rad component. So you can see here this is 89.103.107. So just cross check it with the first command, 89.103.107. So by default, when I executed imread command, it showed me the first component of the image, right? Now I just want to understand what is the look of this rad component. So if I separate out rad component from the image, then what happens? So what I will do, I will write im show, and I want to execute only rad component which is available in imgr, right? So I just want to execute this. So execute this command, and you can see the image has changed. Image is changed because we are not combining red, green and blue component to form the image. This was the actual image, and out of this image we have separated out red component. So when we separated out red component, it looks like this, right? So now you can see what is the dimension of imgr. So you can see here the dimension of imgr is 250 cross 250. Here you can see, but the dimension of img was 250 cross 250 cross 3 because actual matrix was containing 3 color components. But when I separated out red component, then it is only 250 cross 250. So there is no third dimension, and that is our traditional definition of digital image, that it's a two-dimensional function having xy and values at xy. So this 89, 103, 107, these are the values at xy pair, arbitrary xy pair, right? And you can display this information in the form of image also. Now what I have to do, I have seen that my image, the red component of the image. Now I'm interested in green component, right? So write another command, no problem. So we can write another command for second component. So when I put it here 2, then I'm talking about green component. So I'm using another matrix name imgg, and I will display only this imgg, right? And then execute it. So you can see here, now I have separated out green component. So if you cross check the values, then the value at imgr was 89.103.107. Then this value has changed to green component 53.67.70. So by looking at these values, we can say that rad component is more in this particular image because the intensity of green components are less as compared to the green component, red component, right? And when you show it, then you can see here this is the value of green, while in case of red you can see image has brightness. Why brightness? Because the values are higher. And when you see there is a darkness in green component because the intensities are less, right? In the same manner, you can separate out blue component. There is a third component. So I change it to 3, and I say imgb, and I am show display this blue component, right? So now I execute this command. So the values are 31, 45, 51, even lesser than green component. So we can easily understand that the value will be more darker. So as compared to green component, the values in B are darker, right? So by looking at the intensities, we can understand what is the behavior and appearance of the image. So what we have done, this was the original image. So we separated out its 3 components, red, green and blue, and we saved in different matrices, and we showed that what is the appearance and what is the look of individual color components. So you can see, so what is happening actually, your image is a combination of these 3 color components, and when these 3 color components are mixed in some manner, then you get this particular image that is called colored image or RGB image. So if you go through the output, this is color image, but when I go through individual color component, whether it is red, green or blue, then I can see that there is no color available in this. Why? Because there is no third component. So these are typical monochrome images or grayscale images. So grayscale images means the value will range from 0 to L minus 1. So in these images, the L is 256. So the values will range from 0 to 255. So you can see, especially in first component, that values are like 89, 101 and so on, right? So these values can be seen here. Taking a lot of time. Okay, no problem. So these values can be looked in this matrix. By looking at this matrix, you can see what are the various values. But for this particular case, the grayscale value will range from 0 to 255, right? Okay. Then it has stopped working, I think. Okay. It stopped working. No problem. We do it again. Copy this command so that my contents are visible to me. Fine. Right. So it had stopped working. So I have to reinitiate it. So what I have done, I have again initiated with mread command, and I hope that all the remaining commands are clear to you, and I move further. So what we had done, that we had read the image and we had extracted the components, right? And we showed that how to extract color components in the image and how to show it. So I am just repeating this command. So let us say imgb. I am interested in imgb. So imgb is equal to img colon comma 3. That means I am interested in third component, and I am just showing this imgb. So this is my blue component, and my further task is to save this image as image file. So what I want to do, I want to store this imgb matrix as the image file or the jpg file. So there is one function imwrite, that is image write, and image write you have to provide variable name or the matrix name. So I want to write imgb, the content of img blue component, to the file. So let us say my blue component .jpg. Fine. Now I will execute this command. Right, so I think I have written the same command, no problem, it will work. And then I just want to check whether I have done it correctly or not. So what I will do, I am show, and I will display my blue component.jpg. So if it is same as imgb matrix, then I can ensure that my image has been saved successfully. So see, this was my actual color component imgb. Then I saved it to image file. So this is basically save as function, which is I am write, and when it completed writing the file, then I just want to check whether my image has been saved successfully or not. Then I can just display I am show, and the file name will be the parameter, so I can see that my blue component.jpg has been created for me, and it is same as the matrix component. So I can see the information of this file imf info and my blue component.jpg. See, so it can give me the information. So file name is not a URL, it's a online directory, MATLAB drive, some examples in my blue component, right? Width, height, and you can see color type is grayscale. So if you remember the actual image, then the color type was not grayscale in that case, but you can see here this is grayscale image, so it will be a two-dimensional function, and the values of grayscale are ranging from 0 to 255, right? So we move further. Okay, now there is one point. If I am using a colored image, so this was my color image, I am show img, and I don't want to extract its color components, but I want to convert this image into grayscale. Then what to do? That means without extracting color component, if I have to convert this three-dimensional matrix to two-dimensional matrix, then the only solution is convert the colored image into grayscale image, then automatically matrix will be changed to two-dimensional. So what I will do, I will use one function img gray. This is one matrix, new matrix I am taking. A predefined function is there, RGB numeric 2 and then gray. So you can see a predefined function is there in digital image processing toolbox, RGB to gray. RGB means we are assuming that this is RGB image, then numeric 2 and then gray. So it says that convert RGB image to grayscale or color map, then provide value of the matrices, name of the matrix. So my original matrix is IMG. So IMG is a three-dimensional matrix that is having color component, you can see here, but I want to convert it to grayscale like we had done in blue component, right? So I will be using img to gray, RGB to gray function, and I will execute it. So when you execute it, you can see img gray has been created and the dimensions are 250 cross 250. So the third component is gone. And the values have also changed. Now instead of the initial values or the individual color components, it is having 61, 75, 79 and so on. So I just want to see how my converted image looks like. So again you have to use imshow function, and I want to display my gray image that is stored in img gray. So I will use this command. Right, so you can see here this is my grayscale image from the original colored image. So I have not extracted any color component out of it, but I have converted this image combinedly or including all color component into grayscale. So the simple function is RGB to gray, and using RGB to gray function you can convert that image into grayscale image. So now if you want to use this grayscale matrix in any of the function, you can utilize it. So sometimes in image processing application it is necessary to convert colored image into grayscale images. So by using a single command you can convert your colored images into grayscale images. Okay, So next one is some point processing operations. So in last sessions, we have seen that when we implement image enhancement techniques, then the basic operations are negative. Then we have log transformations, and finally we are having power law transformations. So if I have to execute these basic processing functions or point processing functions, then what to do and how to do that. So I am again assuming that we are having img as the colored image matrix. So I am removing this command, it is not required at all now. Fine. Then this blue component display is also not required, so we can remove it. I am right is also not required, so I can also remove this. Fine. I can put a semicolon after command. So whenever you are putting a semicolon after any command, then the immediate output is not displayed. So as you can see, when I executed this command, the matrix output was shown. So if I put semicolon and I execute this command, then you can show the command has been executed, but there is no output, right? So because it is not required right now for me, so I can simply remove this also, right? So I have read my image and the original image is in IMG. So this is also not required. IMG show, whenever it will be required, we will do that. Fine. Yes, IMG gray is required. So IMG gray we can do, right? So again, I put semicolon so that my output is not shown. So I have concised it and run. So both the commands have been executed, but output is not shown, right? So what happens? IMG is containing the colored image components and IMG gray is the grayscale value. Now my objective is perform point processing operations. The first one is negative, right? Negative, the formulation of negative was as equal to L minus 1 minus R. This formulation was there, right? R was the input intensity. So the input intensities are the various values that you have seen in matrix. What is L? L is equal to 256 and we have to perform this function. So what I will do, I will write a routine for that, for finding out negative. So when you are finding out negative, so let us say we will work it with both RGB and colored image. So first of all, we need to understand what is L. So L is equal to 256, right? And then we have to calculate S. S is the output intensity. So we are working with grayscale images. So I can only write IMG gray negative because I don't want to change my original matrix. So I have used another variable. So IMG gray underscore negative is equal to capital L. Capital L is already 256 minus 1 minus R. So what is R? R is my IMG gray. That means I am performing negative operation on IMG gray or grayscale value. So what happens? This function or this line will execute negative for every pixel. IMG gray is representing image. And for that image, every pixel will be considered, and for every pixel, negative will be calculated using the same formulation, and the corresponding value will be stored in the new matrix, that is IMG gray underscore negative. So just see what is the output. IM show IMG gray. So I just want to see what is my original image, and I want to see what is processed image. See, this was my actual image when I converted it original image into grayscale image, and when I am getting the negative, then you can see this is the negative of the grayscale image. As per the formulation given, as equal to L minus 1 minus R. So R is being changed by the original matrix and S is being changed by the new matrix that is representing negative, right? So for every pixel, this formulation is being executed internally and it is being shown as the matrix. So you can very easily see that negative of, like you might have seen in older cameras, some negative films was there. So it was something like that, right? Now I change this to colored image. Instead of grayscale value, I want to execute it for colored image. So what happens in case of colored image, that we also see. So sorry, I apply IMG and I am interested in seeing the negative of the colored image, right? So this was my colored image, and when I calculated negative, then you can see what is the negative of the colored image. So with some color components, the negative has been generated, but when we talk about grayscale value, so the color component is missing, so accordingly negative is shown. But in case of color component, some color information is also there in the negative part, right? So this is the first basic point processing operation through which you can calculate negative of either grayscale image or colored image, right? So now I come to the second operation, that is log transformation. So in log transformation, we had seen that the log transformation basically expands or compress intensity values or grayscale values so that the more brightness or darkness could be introduced in the image. So this was the formulation, S equal to C log 1 plus R. Again, the notations are same. R was representing the input intensity and S is the output intensity. And C was a constant, right? So what do we do? L is not required, so we remove it. Fine. We apply this image on, so IMG gray output by matrix name, and then I have to use this function, right? So we have to define value of C. So let us say C is equal to 0.2 or 0.5, take any arbitrary value. Fine. Then this is C multiplied by log and then R. So R is being represented by IMG gray. Fine. So when you execute this, then you will find that there is some error. I just show you. So I am showing the actual grayscale image and IMG gray output. Fine. So I execute this, then we will find that there is some problem, I think. So okay. So check for missing argument or incorrect argument data type in call to function log. So it is saying that log function cannot take this type of argument, and it is saying that incorrect argument data type. That means the data type of IMG gray is wrong. So just go through the data type of IMG gray. So you can see here, this is 250 cross 250 cross U int 8, unsigned integer 8 matrix, right? But log function is not accepting U int 8. So what I will do, I have to change it to the data type which is required by log. So I say IMG gray double is equal to, double function is there, and then you have to pass IMG gray. So I take a general variable IMG double and I'm converting image gray into double, and instead of passing IMG gray, now what I will do, I will pass IMG double. So the data type of IMG double is double. That means that is a suitable data type for the log operation, and then execute it. So you can see no error is there. So what I have done, I have changed uint8 into double data type because that data type was acceptable by log, and now log function is working, right? So this is your actual image, grayscale image, and when you perform the transformation, nothing is visible. Why nothing is visible? IMG gray output. Okay, so I changed my value of C. So let us say this is 1. Now see what happens. It's still not visible. So plus R, no? So this should be 1 plus IMG double. Fine. it is not showing anything. So what is the value of C? So C value we have taken here 0.05. So I have taken more value, I think. Yes, now you can see it was because of value of C. So if I have changed the value of C, then you can see the image has been changed and some darkness has been introduced. So by adjusting the value of C, you can change output of the log transformation. So more darkness is there, right? So instead of 0.05, what I do, let us say 0.09, right? So some brightness is there. So you can see this is the way how do we perform log transformation. The most important thing, you have to choose appropriate value of C. And the second important thing, the R, that is the input image, by default it is in unsigned integer 8 format. So log transformation or log function will not accept it. Then you have to convert it to double so that the data type of the matrix is changed, and then you have to pass on that changed matrix to the log function, right? Then I come to the third basic transformation, that was power law transformation. And the formulation was C R raised to the power gamma. So this was the function, and the process was gamma correction. By adjusting the value of gamma, we were saying that the transformation function may change from identity to any other log transformation, and the output of the image will also change. So the first value is my C and the second variable is gamma. So let us say 0.05, right? Put semicolon. Again, since I am using a power function, so it may not accept that value, right? So I will uh, use img gray output as C multiplied by power function. Power function says that we have a grayscale image. So my grayscale image is, let us say, img gray. I start with img gray and then my power is gamma, right? So this command I am putting on comment and just run this. So again, error. Integers cannot be raised to positive integral powers. So that means I have to convert it to double, right? So img double, and again I have to pass the same matrix name to power function. Fine. And then try to execute it. So it has been executed, and you can see this is the original image and this is the output image. So by appropriately adjusting the value of gamma, you can change this output. So I am taking as gamma 0.4 and C equal to 0.1. So gamma is 0.4, and then we run this, right? So you can see output has been changed. So by changing the value of gamma, you can definitely change your output, and this process is called gamma correction, right? So we have seen that three basic transformation. How do we implement these three basic transformation functions in MATLAB? The first one was negative, the straightforward one, S equal to L minus 1 minus R. The second one was log transformation. The important thing in log transformation was the value of constant C, and you have to convert your image into double data type. Similarly, when you are performing power law transformation or gamma correction process, you are having two variables C and gamma, and again you have to convert your matrix into double, and you have to adjust the value of gamma, especially in power law transformation, to adjust output of your uh, output of the original image or the function or the transformation function which you are using, right? Okay, then I come to the next point processing operation. Next point processing operation is perform histogram, uh, generate histogram of the image and improve image using equalization, right? So we had seen that histogram equalization is there, and we can use histogram to draw the appearance behavior of the image. So by looking at the histogram, we can tell that whether image is darker, it is low contrast, it is bright, or it is high contrast image. So whenever we find that the values of the grayscale are distributed over the x-axis, that means complete range is covered, then we say this is high contrast image, otherwise the quality of the image is quite poor. So we see how to observe it, how to generate histogram of the image, and we will see how do we perform equalization, right? So IMG is my actual image. So what I am doing, I am writing a function imhist. So imhist is inbuilt function that is image histogram or histogram of the image data, and my image is img gray. I am executing all the functions on img gray, right? Because imhist only works with two-dimensional matrix. So img gray will be used, and see what is the output of this. Yes, this is the histogram of the image. So you can see now number of variables are there. On the x-axis you can see the maximum value is 256. As I said earlier that maximum values are from 0 to 255, so my total 256 values are there. On the right, on the vertical axis we are having count, that is nk. So let us say for any intensity, let us say 100, how many pixels are there, so that is on the vertical axis. So in this manner this imhist function can generate histogram for you quickly, right? So by looking at this histogram you can see this image is already of good quality, I can say, because we have seen this image and the histogram also says that. But most of the content are towards 50 to 100, in the range of 50 to 100. So some sort of darkness is there, though the image is of good quality, but some darkness is there in the image because most of the contents are in this particular range, right? So let us say if I want to apply image histogram equalization technique so that I can further improve the quality, or I can change the quality of this image, then how to do that? So imhist is basically generating the histogram for the original image. So what I will do now, I will use a function hist eq. So hist eq is predefined function for enhancing contrast using histogram equalization. Then I have to pass one variable. So I want to change or I want to equalize input image img gray. So this is my input image which I want to change, or I want to change the contrast of the image, and my output image is img underscore output, right? So I will put semicolon, and then I want to see what is the histogram of change image. So again I will use imhist img underscore output. Right, so this is my actual histogram, the first image, input image. Then we see we performed a histogram equalization technique on the original image, and then we changed the contrast, and the output image was stored in img output, right? And then I calculated, drawn the histogram for img output. Now you can see this is completely distributed over the x-axis as compared to the original one, right? So after histogram equalization, generally you get this sort of output, and if this sort of output is there, then you can say histogram equalization has been calculated perfectly. So now just see what is the impact of histogram equalization on image. So im show, my output has been saved in img output. So I will use this function and run. So this is my output. Of course this image has been degraded because image was already in the good quality, and when you applied contrast stretching, then contrast improvement changed the image quality, right? So you can see more contrast has been introduced into the image, but from our point of view the image has been degraded rather than improving, right? So this is the way you can perform equalization. So we can easily say that since the subjectiveness is there, that image enhancement using histogram equalization is not required in our case. So what we did, we performed we calculated histogram of the image using imhist function. Then for performing histogram equalization, we can use hist eq. Then after performing hist EQ, we can find histogram of the new image, and we can also show that image, how does it look like after calculating the histogram equalization, right? So next point is image ratio. I skip because time is not there. Sharpening. After filtering, we will see sharpening. So okay. So after histogram equalization, we had seen some filtering methods, and in those filtering methods, we have seen the various smoothing and sharpening filters which are available, which can be used with predefined coefficients and filter mask, right? So we see how do we perform filtering. Up till now we have seen how do we perform point processing, whether it is a basic gray level function, transformation function, or histogram equalization. Now how do we perform filtering in images or on images using filter mask, right? So implement filtering. So our objective is to implement filtering, let us say average filter or sharpening filter or something like that. So we will see how to do that. So again, we will work on the IMG gray. So how to do it on the grayscale values. Similarly, you can do it for colored values. So on grayscale images, right? What I will do, there is one function IM filter. So we will making use of IM filter function. There is one more function f special. So whenever you are going to implement filtering on grayscale images, you have to make use of f special and IM filter. Keep in mind, when we discuss filtering, then we identified that there are two inputs in filtering process. The first one is input image that we already have in grayscale, and second one is filter mask with predefined coefficients. So where is that filter mask with predefined coefficients? So f special is used to give you filter mask with predefined coefficients, right? So if you want to provide your coefficients, you can also do that, and you can observe the output. How does it look like? So see what happens. So whenever we talk about filter in programming, this is represented by a small h. So small h is my filter function, and I use f special. So when I use f special, you can see in comments in the tips, it has been shown that type of filter I want to apply, whether I want to apply average filter or disk filter or Laplacian or log or motion. So these terms are familiar now. Average filter or Laplacian. Laplacian was second order derivative for sharpening filter. Then we have pivot operator. Pivot operator was also there in first order derivative, right? So what I do, I use average filter, right? So see what is the output of this command first. Sorry, remove this, then only you can observe your output, right? So you can see this is 0.11, 0.11, 0.11. Why this is 0.11? Because we had seen in average filter that all the coefficients are 1 and the division factor is 9. So when you divide it by 9, 1 divided by 9, then you will get this value, right? So the division factor has been taken into the consideration. So what we have done through f special command, we have introduced our function, filter function with predefined coefficients so that the filtering process could be completed. Now we implement this filter function on my input image. So now I am having two input. The first one is my IMG gray, that is the grayscale image. The second one is H. So H is my filter function. Now I have to combine these two input in filtering process, right? So again, I am using IMG output as the output matrix, and the function is IMG filter, right? So IMG filter, you have to provide two inputs. So my input is IMG gray, that is my input image, and second input is H, right? And just see the output. What is the output of applying this filter? Run this command. So when you run these commands, you can see the averaging filter has been applied on IMG gray. The averaging filter was defined in H, that was all 0.111. And we also know that when we apply average filter, this is smoothing filter. The objective of the smoothing filter is to provide blurriness in the image or averaging of the pixel intensities. So you can say blurriness has been introduced in the image, right? So we are perfectly getting the output of average filter. So let's try to change this filter and see what happens. So now I want to apply, let us say, disk filter. So disk filter is basically 11 cross 11 filter with some values. So you can see when you apply disk filter, the output has been changed. So immediately you can monitor your output, what is happening. Then see motion filter, especially when you have to introduce motion in the image. So you can see. So this is your output of the motion filter, right? So the complete image has been changed. Now just see what is the output of Laplacian, that is second order derivative. So when you apply Laplacian filter, what happens? So Laplacian filter is there, and then you can see after applying Laplacian filter, only fine edges and the sharp edges are there. Sorry. Only fine details and the sharp details are there. Why? Because Laplacian filter was the sharpening filter. Average filter is the smoothing filter. So smoothing filter blurs the image and sharpening filter only highlights or only focuses on the sharp or fine details. So only the fine details of the image has been shown because Laplacian was second order derivative under uh, sharpening filter. Similarly, we had a Prewitt operator. So what is the effect of Prewitt operator? Just see. It also focuses on the sharp details, but somehow the images are output are shown like this. So if you compare Prewitt and Laplacian, then you find that Laplacian is giving good results as compared to Prewitt. And yesterday we had seen that the second order derivative is preferred over first order derivative because of its output capabilities, right? So that is visible that when you are using Prewitt operator and when you are using Laplacian operator, the output of Laplacian is better, right? Then we come to, so these were the linear filters. Either you are using average filter or you are using Laplacian filter or you are using Prewitt filter. These were linear filters. Now at last we see how do we apply non-linear filter. So if you can remember, yesterday we discussed non-linear filter like median filter, max filter and min filter, and the most important was median filter. The why a median filter was important? Because median filter is used for removing a certain type of noise, that is salt and pepper noise, right? So if salt and pepper noise or impulse noise, then when the same thing is present in the image, then we are having only one solution, that is median filter. Now the question is, if I have to implement median filter, then there should be salt and pepper noise, right? So from where should I get salt and pepper noise so that I can demonstrate the output of median filter? So what I do, I show you step by step how to do that. You can introduce noise factor in your image using MATLAB toolbox. So just see what is your input image. So I am show and IMG gray, right? So I have to show IMG gray, right? So this is your actual image, right? And then I have to apply some noise factor so that uh, salt and pepper noise is introduced in image. So I say that image IMG noise is equal to im noise. So im noise is my function which is used to introduce a particular type of noise. There are number of type of noise, 8 to 9 types are there. So any type of the noise can be introduced. So what I have done, I have given that salt and pepper noise should be introduced in IMG gray, and the output should be saved as IMG noisy. So I just want to check how does it look like. IMG noisy, right? So run these commands. So you can see this is the original image, and when I go through my noisy image, then noise has been introduced, image has been changed. So you can see the behavior of salt and pepper or impulse noise is given, right? So what happens if I apply smoothing filter on this image? Then we have seen that smoothing filter doesn't completely remove this salt and pepper noise. So we should apply median filter, right? So when you have to apply median filter, so the command for median filter is this one, madfill2. So now I say my output function is img output, and madfill2 is the function which represents median filter, and we have to apply this median filter on noisy image. So img noisy, right? And then you have to see whether it has been implemented perfectly or not. So just show the output, what happens. Right? So this is the output. So just go through it again from step by step. This was the original image. Then we introduced salt and pepper noise in original image using imNoise function. So the noise was introduced in the image, and then we applied median filter using madfill2 on the noisy image, and the image output was shown. So this is the output through which the complete salt and pepper noise has been removed. So keep in mind, whenever there is a salt and pepper type of noise in the image, then smoothing filter or sharpening filter, averaging, weighted average, these will not work. Only median filter will work, and median filter will completely remove this impulse noise from the image. So in this session, we have seen some fundamentals of image processing using MATLAB. So how do you implement image processing operations very quickly in MATLAB? Similarly, if you are familiar with any other tool in Python or in R or in Scilab, then you can also use that. It is not compulsory that you should use MATLAB. You can use any tool, but MATLAB is providing you quick functions and facilities so that there is no need to work on image components or image internals and the filter internals. Directly you can use function, just pass the parameter, and you can visualize the output, right? So I think it is helpful for the participant so that they can explore more things about the further fundamental steps of image processing, because it is not possible to cover everything in one session. So that's all from my side. Any question from the audience? Any question from the audience?
Participant, please ask query.
Okay, no queries, then thank you. We meet at 3 o'clock with a new topic that is not from image processing, basic concepts, that is gesture recognition, right? So what are the research avenues, what is concept behind gesture recognition? Fine, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.